Happy holidays and welcome back to the Messy Cook. I have another Christmas treat recipe for you today. These are what I call coconut chocolate chewy bars. Other people call them magic bars or Dolly bars. There's lots of names that have been given to these over the years. This recipe is another one that we've been doing for years and years. Here is the recipe here. So it's coconut, I call them chewy bars. 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 1/2 cup of butter, 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1 can of Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk, or any sweetened condensed milk will do, 1 1/3 cups of coconut, and a cup of nuts, which is optional. So preheat your oven to 350. You need a 9 by 13 pan. This will make 24 bars. And what I do is I line the pan. You don't really have to because they still come out pretty good, but I just find it's easier for removal with parchment paper, so I kind of do that. So first step is you got, like I said, 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. I'll move this over so you can see what we're doing here. So I have 1/2 cup of butter, or 1 stick, depending if you buy it in sticks. So that's 1/4 of a pound of butter. So we're going to mix that in. Another easy trick you can do if you don't want to line your pan, you can put your pan in the oven with the solid butter in it and let it melt, and then just sprinkle the crumbs in afterwards and mix it up. That's usually what I do, but for this recipe, like I said, it's just a little bit easier, I think, if the pan is lined, just for removal and storage purposes, since I'm doing this a month before Christmas. So, whoops, okay, we're gonna messy cook. There we go. All right, so we're gonna put this in. I'm just gonna plop this in the bottom. Make sure we get everything out. And if there's a few crumbs, that's not a big deal, because that butter and everything is gonna get that all sucked up pretty good. And we're going to spread this out in the bottom of the pan. And you know what? Hands always work, and my hands are clean, so I'm just going to spread this around to the best of my ability and flatten this to the bottom of the pan, and then we're going to do the next step. Okay, so as you can see, I have spread that out as evenly as possible. So you can use your hand, use a spatula, use a fork, use the back of a cup, something with a flat bottom. That works too. Next, we're going to put on our can of sweetened condensed milk, and we just want to basically string this across so we get as even as possible. Hopefully you see this as we're going there. Now, we're not going to get every single spot, but we can use a spoon or whatnot afterwards. Get the edges here. And we want to try to get all, so this is our kind of our ingredient that's going to make everything chewy. And it's going to help the chocolate chips and the coconut stick. So we're just going to make sure we get all of that out. And then I can spread that around a little bit with a spatula or a spoon. There we go. All out of there. There we go. I know the cans of sweetened condensed milk through the years with, inflation and the way people package stuff have gotten a little bit smaller than they were, but the 1 can actually still works really well. If you're concerned and you want a little bit more, you can grab a second can and add in maybe 1/3 of that or 1/4 of that. So I think we've spread this out to pretty well most of the edges. So we'll give you a quick show there. So you want to get as close to the edges as possible. So I've got that all nice. That's just 1 can, so that worked out really nice. And I have aside 1 cup of chocolate chips. If you want more, feel free to add more. I think the cup works well. And same thing, you're just gonna kind of shake the bowl and sprinkle them. It makes it a little bit more even if you do a little bit higher up. Just make sure you don't sprinkle them on the floor. And there we go. Now for the last couple, I'll put them in my hand and just make sure that the edges and the corners all get done. This doesn't have to be perfect. The other thing as well that's nice about this is if you don't want, again, I use milk chocolate chips. You can use dark, you can use peanut butter, you can use butterscotch, whatever type of chips you want to use. And then on top of this, now if you want nuts, you can add in nuts. Now my advice would be to chop them up. You could do walnuts, pecans, hazelnuts, almonds, cashews, whatever you like. I like to do it just plain because I give stuff away sometimes, and if somebody has a nut allergy, I'd rather just avoid that. Although this does have coconut, but I'm not a fan of it with the nuts on it anyhow. So this is a cup and A third of coconut. Now this is sweetened coconut. If you don't want it too sweet, you can use the unsweetened. But sweetened, you know, it's Christmas. You gotta have some treats. So we're just gonna sprinkle this all evenly over the top. You could also, you know, do like I did with the chocolate chips and kind of sprinkle it from the top. You want to make sure all the edges and the corners and everything is covered. And that last little bit, we're just going to make sure it kind of evens. We want this as even as possible. Another one I did one time with this recipe is I added some cranberries, some like craisins, dried sweetened cranberries in there as well. And that was really delicious. So if you want to add something down, or even raisins maybe might be good. Feel free to add that. Make it your own, you know. I'm just doing the simple recipe for now. And this is going to bake in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until the top is all golden brown. So as you can see here, I've got it all nice and even all the way to the edges. We're going to pop this in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. I'll check at 25, and if it's slightly brown on the top, we're good. I'll take it out, let it cool completely at room temperature, and that's when you cut them. And these freeze amazing. So we're going to pop this in now. All right, just popping this in the oven. I've already preheated it to 350. So we're just going to leave that right dead center, right center of the oven. Put my timer on for 25 minutes. And as soon as that beeps, I'll come back and check. And if we've got it to the point we want, I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. So we'll do 25 and we'll come back. Okay, so these coconut chewy bars, Dolly Bars, whatever you want to call them, just beeped. So I'm going to take them out. And this was 25 minutes. And I just want to see if they're golden on the top. And you know what? Yep, it's perfect. So I'm going to take that out. This can go anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. And this is what we're looking for, that nice golden on the top. Still bubbling. I'm going to put this aside to cool to room temperature, and then we're going to cut them up, and I'll show you what they look like when they're all chopped up. Thanks for coming back. So I have finished cooling to room temperature the coconut chewy chocolate bars, or Dolly Bars as some people call them. So I'm going to take them out. I am going to chop them while they're room temperature, as they're easier to cut now before they're frozen. And then I'm going to wrap them, put them in a container, and freeze them till Christmas. So I hope you try this recipe. Like I said, you can top it with whatever you like. By doing this method here, so much easier to come out. Your pan is not clean, but pretty darn close. And I'm just going to pull out my cutting board here, slide this on top, and I'm going to cut this into 24. So I'm going to cut 6 across, or maybe a little bit more. I like doing little squares so it makes it go a little bit further. So I'm going to get cutting this here. These bars are absolutely amazing. So the sides just come right down. I'm going to cut straight down the middle here. Oh, smells lovely, buttery, and you can feel that it's got a little bit of chewiness to it. I'm going to cut down the middle again of each one. So I'm going to do 4 down and probably 6 across. We'll see what we get out of this. So I'm going to continue to cut this, and I'm going to show you when they're all cut what they look like in the middle. Okay, so I've got these all cut. I've cut 4 across, 4 by 8. So this is, I'm just going to pull one of these up, and you can get a good idea of what it looks like. So this is coconut and sweetened nuts, milk, chocolate chips, a really lovely bottom. It's buttery, it's chewy, it smells amazing, a little bit nutty from the coconut. Add nuts if you want, or craisins or raisins or whatever. So I hope you try this recipe, whether you call them Dolly Bars, you call them Magic Bars, or just plain old coconut chewy bars like I do. Please try them. I hope you'll enjoy. This is a pretty old recipe. You can ask your parents or grandparents if they had it in their family homes when they were growing up, and I'm sure you're going to find someone that's had these. So enjoy. I hope you have a Merry Christmas with your family. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you'll get a little dingle whenever one of my new videos comes up. Have a great Christmas, and we will see you soon with some more videos. Merry Christmas.